Welcome, everybody, to Doodtacular, where curiosity meets creativity. I am your host, Freeman, joined by my co host, Colt. And today we have our special guest on the show today, MmamaLlamaFace. Colt, tell us about MmamaLlama.
MmamaLlamaFace, though most call her Llama. She's always been a gamer since she was younger. Growing up, her first game console was the original Nintendo that her parents had, and she would play Mario. She never seemed to could make it to the top of the flagpole at the end of the courses, though. Afterwards, she played a lot of N64 games such as Super Mario, Crash Bandicoot, Spyro. And as she grew older, she saved all her money from doing chores for years and bought Kingdom Hearts. And it was a game that she fell in love with. Gaming was an escape from things growing up. And while she didn't get to play often, she thoroughly enjoyed it. Fast forward, she's married, and her wonderful husband of almost 7 years has 2 kids, and she streams as her full-time job. And she has been streaming for the last 2.5 years, mainly focusing on Fortnite and some variety games. But her love for gaming, however, is not what got her into streaming. She loves engaging with others, helping them, being a light, relatable, and sharing where she gets that from. It's truly her passion and mission, and she feels she's been led to do it. Welcome to the show, MmamaLlamaFace.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So, MmamaLlamaFace, thank you for joining us tonight. And I know Colt read your bio, but could you briefly introduce yourself and what is it you do in your content?
Yeah. When I go into content, for instance, I feel like a lot of people have probably more of a streamlined goal than I might. I'm like, oh, I admire that about people, of course. However, mine is definitely more to engage with people and just be a real, like, relatable person. I definitely share my vulnerable times that I've had throughout my life in order to do that. And what initially brought me into streaming was I think it's been like a course. I always tell my community, it's like when we're going through the hard times, trials and tribulations and stuff like that. I went through that for like a lot of my life, majority of it, and probably like 15 plus years. And I stepped away from my faith and I came back stronger. And but those things that I faced in that time is what helps me relate to people. Definitely God is what put it on my heart to start streaming. So my content, to wrap it back around, is just having a good positive time and have good conversation in the chat and just open up those hard topics, because I find those to be something that when left, inside, they fester and they grow, and people feel more alone than ever. And just to let people know that they have a purpose and they're loved. That's my main slogan. So that's what we're told by God, and it's definitely what I try to, give. So
that's awesome. Nice. I know you said, it was really your faith and God that helped to lead you into becoming a content creator.
Yeah.
Were there any other, I guess, influences or other things that sparked your interest, or creators that influenced the style of the content you create?
Honestly, no. I would like to sit here and say that. And I don't want to be like, oh no, but I just kind of went into this with, like, I didn't know the whole kind of content creation world. And I heard of people like Cypher and Nick A. Of course, we've all heard of those when we play the game like Fortnite, for instance. But it just wasn't like, I do admire like Nick A's family friendly style, of course. I think that each streamer can bring great content through their, like, I like to watch their YouTube videos, that type of thing. Like, I definitely can't do that. That's not my talent. I mean, maybe someday, but so I do admire that about different streamers. When I started streaming, though, is when I started looking at other streamers, really. And so while God is what put me here, looking at other creators like that I would stumble upon, who are also Christian creators. Like I got to meet a lovely friend through this, which is Miss Positivity. We also have like Mother Goose. She's also a Christian creator. Like women who are just like really rooted strongly in their faith, and being able to like also see how they're trying to change things too. I find that to be really admirable, and like we can, try to bounce things off of each other. And so I guess essentially going into this, I didn't really have like this is what I'm going to do. I just kind of go where God tells me to. And he hasn't led me wrong. So it's always been a leap of faith, though. I will say that. Like buying a PC, for instance, it's like a huge chunk of change, you know, $4,000 to $5,000. And then you need a monitor, you need all this other stuff in order to stream. And, you know, I do look back at my original videos and I'm like, oh my gosh, like it's so different than what my current stuff is. And like, this is all because my community has, you know, really just blessed the journey, and you know, God has too. And I just hope that it always speaks to at least one person that's worth it. So yeah. I hope that answers your question.
No, it did.
It did.
I talk a lot, so
no, you're good. That's what this is for. We like to get as much thought out of our guests as we can. So
I think sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I think when people are starting this, they put too much pressure on like, I need to have X, Y, and Z to start streaming. If your heart is like for this, my thing is like, you can't be in this for the money, because that's just not it. Exactly. You need to have like the heart for other people. And if you're expecting to make quick money off of this and not have to do a lot of work, then you're definitely in the wrong business. That's not what happens. So it's a lot of hours that you spend offline still working, you know, and I think that some people don't see that, but when you do this yourself, you definitely realize how much it does take, and it does take years of that. A lot of sacrifices on the side too. And, you know, you don't have to have the best equipment to start, but if your heart is in the right place with it, then I definitely want to encourage people to do that. I think that there's just too many mindsets that people put around stuff, essentially.
So you would say that the people on Twitter that say quit complaining you play video games for a living are wrong?
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that, or like even not my direct family, but other family. They have no interest in what I do. And I tell them like, I share God with people and I like to engage with people. And it's been compared in all sorts of ways. Definitely not good. So I think that it's just kind of one of those things of, I know what I'm doing and know where to be right with things. And you're always going to have like negative voices coming through in this type of industry, like whether it's on social media or in your own chat, trying to bring you down, but you just know with where you stand. So,
right.
Absolutely.
So what inspired your username, MmamaLlamaFace?
It's actually kind of funny because before I started streaming, I had my son and I would watch my husband play Fortnite, and that was something I really enjoyed. And I was like, you know what? Like when I get my Xbox, I wonder what I'll create my username to be. And I love the movie Emperor's New Groove. And I'm a mom, so I was like, that's kind of a good play on words, like MmamaLlamaFace. And then I was like, it's kind of funny. Like I have kind of a quirky personality. So I just was, people come in and be like, you don't have a llama face. I'm like, you know, stuff like that. But I'm like, or like, oh, Mama Llama red pajama. And I'm like, actually, it's not from the book, but you know, it's from the Emperor's New Groove movie. So I love that movie. It makes me laugh. Movie.
It is.
Yeah. We low key talked when we were writing the questions for the show. We're like, do you think this is a reference to like Emperor's New Groove?
Yeah.
And we're like, yes.
I'm so glad you guys got it. I've only had maybe like a handful of people who have like seen the movie and are like, I like your name. It's definitely Emperor's New Groove, right? And I'm like, yes.
Well, I think there's people that have to be in our like age range.
Yeah,
get
so
that,
true.
that grew up with that movie, you know, because you know, people who are right now 18 years old, they don't know what Emperor's New Groove is.
Well, when they think of llamas, they think of Fortnite, and that's their only reference to llamas.
True, though. I mean, it's just like totally coincidental that it ended up being with Fortnite. I didn't even, when I made the name, I was like not even thinking of the Fortnite llamas.
So, talking a little bit about just your journey as a content creator, what have been some of your favorite experiences, or maybe a project that you've had along the way that has really contributed to like your growth and success as a creator today?
Let's see. I'd say like my favorite experiences are we've done some crazy streams where I did like a 33-hour stream, and I did the year before that I did a 32, or was it 31-hour stream.
Wow.
My 32 was actually
Dedication.
33 hours. So no sleeping, no my 33-hour didn't do like any caffeine. It was like crazy. And I think I was up for both of those for like a total of around like 48 hours or something. And I just remember like I had different redemptions for stuff, and I did this one that was like these drunk goggles type look, and I just remember trying to play Fortnite with those on, and it was like hilarious. So I like to obviously embarrass myself at times to make people happy. It doesn't happen all the time though, but okay, maybe it does. Probably a lot more often than
I think you have to be that way though. To be a content creator, you can't take yourself that seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, like you put yourself out there on the internet,
right?
For
Yeah,
literally,
exactly.
especially streaming, right? There's no undo, there's no unpublish button. You can't.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Hopefully, whatever you did isn't that embarrassing when it gets clipped 1,000 times and shared on, Twitter or whatever.
Yeah.
That's why we have Twitch fails and we don't have YouTube fails.
True.
Exactly.
I mean,
YouTube
I don't
don't
think
get
I'm at that level yet where like I'll get clipped and then it's just like it's out there. But definitely have been like, we did Ice Bucket on stream before, which was fun. And we did it was the Hot Ones challenge. Have you guys ever done the Hot Ones?
I haven't done
wanted
it.
to.
I've seen it plenty of times, but haven't done it.
I did a whole month of September. I think it was last year. And anyone who gave like 20 subs, I did the last ab. And my stomach was awful that month. I was like, I'm going to burn a hole in my stomach. So just like stuff like that. But I honestly think that the bomb is like way worse, to be quite honest, for me personally. I don't know if you guys like spicy food, but it's definitely a good challenge to do. So good moments like that are fun, and like dancing, do little party type things with your community. Just probably could be a little bit more like that at times, I feel.
Yeah, I feel like the viewers enjoy seeing two things. They enjoy seeing the creator have a good time, and then they also enjoy seeing the creator do a punishment.
Yeah,
they like both.
They love it, it kind of is like when you're little, right? Little kids pick on each other to show them each other that they like each other. It's almost that way when you're a content creator. They love to see it when you're happy, but they also love to see you miserable.
Yeah,
they do.
Those are good moments though. They create memorable ones. And we're just doing movie nights, I used to do like 2-3 nights, and we would just like game, and I'd be like, oh, it'll be like 4 or 5 hours long, and then it would be like 9-10 hours because we would just have fun. So just having fun with people, and just I try not to be anything but myself. So I think those are always good memories. What was the other part of the question that you asked me? I'm so sorry.
So like projects or experiences. So if you've been a part. Yeah.
I don't know about projects. That gets I'm like thinking, I'm like, what have I done? It'll probably come to me later, and I'll be like, yeah.
But maybe a better word to think of it is maybe something that you can think that was like maybe a pivotal point in like catapulting your growth, like making you grow quickly. Like, was there any one thing you can think of that really made you start trending up?
Honestly, I don't even know that I have.
Just a steady growth, and that's probably that's honestly better, than having a sharp upturn.
I see it. Okay. Maybe just better mic quality.
Audio is super important.
It is.
It's huge. I thought initially when I started streaming, I bought like this headset mic, and I was like, oh, this is going to be like the best thing ever. Right. So I had no clue. And, I go back to those old videos, and they sound awful. And then I'm just like, that thing was so expensive though. But, when I got my mic and then my Go XLR, it changed a lot for me. And, then I was able to like route audio specifically and like learn all this stuff. And like, I think that teaching yourself this takes a lot. And I definitely haven't done it all myself. Like I had other creators from the very beginning, like Pop Tosan was a great friend of mine in the beginning and still a great friend. But like, he helped me route all of my audio in the beginning. And like, I would not have been able to do it. And then like getting on my Azeron, huge turning point, I think, for me, because if you guys don't know what Azeron is, I'm not sure if you've seen them, but this is my keyboard. And like, I used to play on a controller. And so that's what I play on for Fortnite now. And that was huge for me because I felt like I hit like a cap, and there just wasn't any more growth coming from like my game wise play. And so in that sense, that helped me more tournament wise. And it's definitely maybe not for everybody, but I think that's a great thing to use if you're going from controller over to keyboard and mouse. So
those things are pretty interesting.
Yeah,
they are very cool.
For sure. For sure. But those are mainly the things I would say. And then you just slowly add more stuff. And I think each thing just kind of helps, like yours, like you have a great setup, lights and things and like good mics. So it does add a lot when you just have good quality. You don't need to have like all this flashy stuff. So
sure.
No, absolutely.
So we talked about the good side of things that you had fun with. Is there any low parts in your 2.5 years? Have you had any low parts of your content where you felt like maybe it was time to give up or anything? And what kind of lessons did you learn from that? Like what pulled you through?
I've had lots of that over my time. I mean, I struggle to that even to this day at times. And personally, I think that is a lot of the enemy trying to take me off of the path that, God wants me to help reach other people and share his word and his light and his kindness and love. And if he brings me down at the source or brings like, something down in my family with my kids or like, anything like personal wise, then, or my health, then it's like he has some kind of hold and takes me out of the game for a little bit. So personally, with streaming in general, I think that we kind of in the beginning have like thinner skin, I always thought I was, words can't hurt me, type of thing. But like words are like the worst, and people will use them against you in so many ways. And I just found that it's about giving power to certain things in your life and not others. And when you give power to those negative voices and those negative words, then you're letting it have control over you. But if you choose to give power to the positive things, then the negative doesn't really affect you. Somebody can come into chat and call me the worst things now, and I just laugh at them. I just think that they're hilarious, actually, because they're taking their time out to come and try to make me feel bad, but it doesn't, because I know where I stand with God. And so I think when you have that kind of foundation more, and I know like my regulars come in all the time or like, that type of thing. And they take time out of their day to be there. And that means a lot to me. So somebody's random comment of telling me I look like a man or, calling me the worst name in the book or telling me vulgar things, it's like, whatever. I don't care. But, as far as the journey, I think that we all go through these highs and lows, and just knowing that that's part of it, knowing that those highs and lows are essentially part of the growth, and you're going to feel like quitting more times than you think. And it will be a challenge not to, but I was even thinking just the other day, like I was sharing with the community, I was like, with me being sick and stuff, I was like, am I doing the right things? Like, am I continually showing that I'm trying to evolve and like change things and not to change my content in that sense. Like, my content will still be caring about people and telling them that they have a purpose to live here for that reason because God tells us,
Right.
But I think more times than not is that the enemy just wants to ruin that. So,
True.
Yeah.
I once had a mentor, the boss of mine, and he taught, you don't grow when you're comfortable, so you have to get uncomfortable. And I've taken that to heart both professionally at my day job, but also to what we do here. It's like, I think as a content creator, you almost have to push yourself to say, am I comfortable? Like, have I plateaued because I'm not pushing myself to be
Right.
uncomfortable?
I totally agree with that. And I talk with the community often about being self-analytical in a positive way. It's different when you let that self-analysis become negative and it's, I should be this, I should be that. Those are the negative voices. When it's in a positive way of, I feel like I can improve here and I want to see what happens, if I change this, or like, it's just different type of being self-analytical. It's not pulling you down or weighing you down. It's trying to increase, something
Right.
good. Then I think that's good. But when it's the other kind, then it's like, no, that one needs to be kicked out. So
Yeah.
I totally agree with you. I think that's very important.
No, absolutely. So going back to something you said about people on the internet being people on the internet, what has it been like being a female content creator in 2023?
Yeah.
Has it been easy or
No.
has it been hard, especially on Kick?
Yeah. So I think in general, both are just like the same. Like, we've had really awful stuff on both platforms. And I think that, obviously with Kick being more in its infancy, it has more ability for things to come through the chat rather than it does over on Twitch because of simply moderation settings. Moderation settings are like, we have a shield mode on Twitch. We have other things we can set in place, like actual phrases and stuff. Kick is implementing those things, but I mean, going into it, knowing that, definitely did. I didn't, my thing with going over there was just because I felt like in the Christian streaming realm over here, I had no new people coming through and it was mainly for engagements. I want to reach new people and also share the word with them and let them know that they, like God's word. I think that's super important. And my definite thing is like, you don't have to, be religious or any kind of way. Like you don't even have to believe to be over in my channel. It's just I have so many people who just come and they listen to devotionals, even sometimes more than people who do, which is actually kind of interesting. And they actually get a lot out of it. And I find that to be really cool to witness. And then I think that a lot of it too is just like knowing that you're always going to have somebody come in and try to challenge you in some kind of way. And so I get a lot of the time, like when I'm like in the middle of devotional, oh, God's not here, this or that, and I'm like, well, we're not here to debate the existence of God. We're here to just have a good conversation. And, this is what we're talking about. In the sense of being a female creator, though, like I literally rated somebody one time and he was like, the trolls have been really strong lately. Yeah. And I was like, I mean, I'm kind of a female creator. So like I get this constantly. I don't think I've ever had a stream where I haven't had like, several bans. So it's, or just like something coming through that's just really like, whoa, Yeah. So I just think that's kind of to be unfortunately expected in that, which it shouldn't be, but it is. So
it honestly, it makes me want to just delete my Twitch account, all my accounts. When I see like, honestly, female content creators get more crap, for better use of a word, for literally being nothing other than the fact that they're female.
Sure.
It honestly is the most irritating thing I see on the internet today. It's like, come on, guys, can we just not today? Can we just you woke up and you chose violence. That is like the only thing you said, and it's for no rhyme or reason. And so like
I think it's entertainment. If they get a rise out of you, then they've won something. And
right.
the thing is like I don't give them that. Like I used to kind of get a little upset. Sometimes I'll be like, I'll just troll them right back. I'm like, I'll kill someone in the game. They come into my chat and start like trash talking me. And I'm like, oh, you mad because you died to me? Like, oh, I must suck dying to a girl. You know what I mean? Like I totally trash talk them and they just get mad. And then I just laugh. I just keep laughing because they're just like, it's one, a game. Two, you literally spent so much time and effort coming in here. Like you look at the line of how many efforts they took just to be negative. And I think that's kind of, something that they come into a positive stream to be negative. It's kind of funny. So I personally think that regardless of how, we're treated on any kind of platform, it's going to be like that. And that's just the sad truth. But the thing is like, it's how you let it affect you. And it's also the difference you make on that platform. So you could be in the worst place possible. And I think that's the best place possible to stream.
That's a good point. I like that. That's a good quote.
Thank you.
So what was it like, the journey to becoming Kick verified?
So I had been on Twitch, for quite a while, a little over 2 years, and I had unlocked it on my stream multiple times, and it never gave me the option to apply for partner. I don't know why. It never gave me the button for it, even though I have the goals accomplished and stuff like that. So I just after trying to reach out to Twitch about it and just not really hearing anything, I was just I prayed a lot because this is my full-time job. I have 2 kids, my family relies on me. And I just felt very led to go over to Kick. And I was trying new things. That's great. If this is what God wants for me, I'm literally taking another leap of faith and going over there, even though it wasn't something I was this is what I want to do. I was I prayed a lot about it. And I had people in the community just randomly reach out to me and be like, hey, I think you should give it a try, even though I hadn't talked about it and, stuff like that. And I thought that was kind of a sign as well. I went over there and I think it was the first month we got it. I think I had just hit a month and got verified. Kick definitely supported me quite a bit in that journey. I had a lot of people from my community, a lot of people, amazing ones, just came straight over and supported every single day, regardless of whatever platform I was on. And I hope they know how much I truly appreciate that, because that's huge. But not only that, I got featured so many times, being put on the front page by staff and them coming into my channel, saying hi. And I've had Kick staff in my chat probably 15 times,
That's awesome.
They've come and hung out for 30 minutes to an hour, sometimes longer, actually have an active type of watching and listening and being huh, I like it here. You know what I mean? And that's really cool because I've never once experienced that over on Twitch. I never once had a staff come in and give me the time of day or put me on the page. And I think it's because simply, and I don't want to sound like that, but it's because I'm a Christian. So Kick definitely supports my faith in that kind of way too. I outwardly have talked about my faith and been talking about my faith. And, I have, he has a bad name currently, but Eddie came in and was listening, and I thought that was really cool. But
wow.
So I do think that there are good things to come from it. It may not have the best track record at the moment. And I don't necessarily agree with everything either, but I don't think we're going to agree with everything that happens on a platform, and we're still going to need to stream on it. So
yeah, Twitch has had plenty of screw ups that we haven't agreed with for sure.
Yeah, they just unbanned a kid from literally claiming that he liked kids. And I was just that's just not, where it's at for me. So I just was but my people who have talked about their faith openly before and stuff, were getting banned for no reason, and finding little things that they could get banned over. And it was just kind of interesting to see. And so I was just kind of what's really supported, and going against that type of grain. It's really important to spread that light and love and God's word. And I think that it's how you do it too. It's not being judgy, and it's about just really trying to reflect his likeness. Because that person that you may be looking at in a judgmental way is loved by God too.
Yep.
Yes.
I mean, that's why the greatest commandment is love God and love your neighbor. I mean, if as long as you do those two things, everything else should fall into play. If you just do those two simple things. So talking about Kick versus Twitch, MmamaLlama, what is your opinion on the future of live streaming? Where do you see this going?
Honestly, that's a really good question. I'm actually seeing a lot more people doing stuff on Twitter, which is really interesting. I think that might be the next thing, to be quite honest. So, maybe, and a friend also said that, that I was talking to, Zach in the box. He had said that too. There were so many people like listening in and chiming in on just like a Twitter like group thing. And I was just like amazed. And every time I go on there, it seems like there's something going on. Yeah, I think it might be a one-shot platform in that kind of sense.
Yeah.
I don't know though. So it just has to be competitive enough, in the nature of what streaming is. And Twitch has wonderful things because it's been around for a while. But it also has really bad things because it's been around for a while. And, Kick is learning and developing, and which has good, potential, but it also can be kind of also its downfall. So I think both are a little bit kind of a risk at the moment. But that's kind of the thing. Like as a content creator, you don't really know where it's going to be good one day and where it might not be the next. So
the good potential of those two platforms, Twitter and Kick, is that, and I mean, the owner of Amazon, Jeff Bezos, doesn't need money either, but Twitch as a company is struggling to make money. Whereas Kick, like Eddie, doesn't need money. He can give you a 95-5 split because he doesn't need money. He just needs the platform to run. Same thing with Elon Musk. He doesn't need the money. He just wants to make his platform
successful.
Like you said, a one-stop shop, successful platform. And he can give people, the creators, those cuts that they want because he doesn't need the money. Just
exactly.
Like I said, Twitch is trying to hang on to every penny to make their
which is a cut at the beginning. But then like eventually with all the people coming over, it ends up profiting at some point down the road. So
it's money to make money.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people definitely don't agree with the backing of Kick, being by a stake, which is a gambling site. Obviously not promoting that or saying like that's the best thing. But the thing is it's like anywhere you go to, like, what am I going to boycott Walmart because it has its hands in things, or Target? It's like
boycott Starbucks because it supports LGBT,
Exactly. And it's like
the whole world.
you would have to at that point. And so you have to kind of pick and choose your battles, but also knowing like where your heart is at in it is super important, because like, hey, this is the platform I chose because it has bad things on it,
Right.
We've definitely argued the point of like, what if there was a Christian platform itself? Like, I think that would be great. But the thing is like, would it actually get people to come over to the platform, like where you could actually share God with those people? Or would it just be a bunch of Christians? That's what gets to me, because I'm just like, while that might be a great idea, it could be backed by the right people. That would be great. But if you're outwardly pushing like this movement of this and that, then, we need to have the people who are not believers see what true Christians living in God's likeness are like. And that's super important. And I don't think you're going to find that on just outwardly like this is a Christian platform.
Yeah, so that's what the church was for. I mean, the church is the place for Christians to come together and fellowship and sharpen and have a good time, and then you go out and evangelize to the world. I mean, that was the point of the church. We don't need a streaming platform of Christians to sit in that box as well and not do anything else.
Yeah, and like, I kind of tried to think of myself like in what my channel is as kind of like a church, in a sense of when we do devotionals, we talk about God and we relate things. Like, it's come as you are, and that's how church is. It's like, you don't have to be all of this in order to be here or be accepted. I may not agree with things that you are doing or living, or, that type of thing, but like, that doesn't mean that I don't love you and that I will turn you away or anything like that, or judge, or, that type of thing. I think that can be kind of like how us as quote man represent God in a wrong way. And it comes off in a different type of view to those outsiders looking in.
Definitely. I think the most bizarre thing to me with this whole moral dilemma over Kick is, when did gambling become the ultimate sin?
Yeah.
When?
I don't know.
When?
I
Like,
kinda was
meanwhile, we're
wondering
having
that too.
we're having TwitchCon at Las Vegas.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
why isn't that
that's-
brought into it? Yeah.
That is the thing that, like,
Uh-huh.
every day I'm like, I look at the stuff that, like, the top streamers talk about on any platform, like just the
Like
nonsense
Pokimane
that they
was
talk
like
about.
having this huge thing with gambling, right? Is that what you're referring to?
Well, I mean, I'll just throw Kai Cenat under the bus. Like, some of the conversations he has on stream about women or other individuals, and it's not just him singled out. Like, I could probably list 20 or 30 like streamers that have tens of thousands of viewers, and they're talking about really immoral things. But meanwhile, gambling was like, oh no, gambling kills people. It's the next, top killer of humans. And like,
oh, I know.
This seems really weird that this is the crutch. Like, people take kick for all, and this is what we talk about when we platforms are tools, right?
Right.
Anyone who says, plants their flag on this hill to die for a platform, you are making the biggest mistake, because as soon as you become a liability versus an asset to them, they'll cancel you. They'll cut you right off. It doesn't matter what you believe, whether you're lockstep or vehemently opposed to whatever the platform promotes. As soon as you become a liability, you're nothing to them. So why would you give them that? Why would you vouch for them to that extent? Meanwhile, as creators, we should be doing everything in our power to utilize platforms for what they are. They're platforms.
Mm-hmm. It's a good way to get something out there, that could be positive or negative. I just didn't. Yeah, I was the same kind of mindset too. I was like, when did gambling become the ultimate sin? And I like log on to Kick and I don't see anything like super bad. And then the first time I opened Twitch like 2 weeks ago, and this is totally not okay. Even though I have like these things blocked, it was like a woman with pasties. And I was just like, okay, like haven't been on Twitch in like weeks. And that's the first thing I see when I open up Twitch, but go to Kick every day. And like, I don't see any of that. And like, you have to dig to find that in my like, because you can block stuff over there too, but it just like, I don't know. I have it blocked over here too. And it's like right there for everyone to see.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I don't know how that's promoted as a, like, it's something Twitch recommends to people. And then, I don't know if they're just going for engagements essentially. Because ad revenue.
Yeah. And then we wonder why streaming platforms compared to YouTube have terrible CRM. It's because it's the Wild West. YouTube doesn't allow any of that stuff for that reason. I mean, the adpocalypse happened because advertisers didn't like their ads showing up on controversial content. You wonder why your ad revenue on any platform that's a streaming platform is low. It's because they let you get away with pretty much anything that YouTube would not let you do.
So true. That's very true. I mean, they're more concerned about DMCAs than anything else, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So
talking about all of that, to pivot to some lessons and advice. What's a piece of advice you wish someone would have given you when you started?
Maybe not to buy the headset mic. I think that would have been good.
It could have been good.
Now I want to know what headset mic was this?
It was a Steel Series. It was good. I don't understand like why it was so bad. It was like $340 too. It was so expensive.
Wow.
Is it the wireless pros?
Yep.
Yeah.
I have no clue why it was that bad.
I have the nose. I use these when I'm not. When I want to walk around the house and listen. But
the mic is awful.
It is. It's so bad.
Yeah.
I don't understand why something so expensive is so bad.
I tried one too. I tried the Logitech like G Pro headset.
Yeah.
That was supposed to have the microphone and you could do like not like VSTs, but you could tweak it with EQ and all that stuff. It was still terrible.
Oh man, that's funny. I mean, I always heard SteelSeries was like such a good brand, and then come to find out, I was just like, when I had that thing on my head, I felt like it was like a vice grip, and these are just the Bear Dynamics 990s. I just changed out these ear pads for like $35, and
I just changed mine out last month.
Yeah, and then you're like, voila, I have a brand new headset again. So
I'm
It's like
this
the best.
close to pulling the trigger on a pair of DT990s because Colt's been like, yeah, they're so good. And I'm like,
They are.
do I want to spend $170 today? No, but I'm like, I
It's the
need to
equipment you have to
upgrade.
buy with the $170.
Yeah.
You know, the Go XLR or the, you know, if you get a mini or a regular, or I think it's they have a new one. It starts with an R. A lot of people are using it now. What is it called? I'd have to look at my recents. I was checking it out because it's like a mixing table too. And it has more.
Roadcaster?
Yeah, a road. Yeah,
Okay,
that one.
Yeah, that's what
Mhm.
I the Roadcaster Pro.
Do you
2.
That's
like
what
it?
we're using for this.
Yep.
Yeah, I have the big one, but I just am like, I don't know, because I heard that they fired a bunch of people from their team, so no more software developments are coming out for Go XLR.
Yeah, the
I
Go
don't-
XLR won't have any more updates. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it'll still work. You know, it's not like it's going to turn off or anything.
Everyone's like, it's gonna be a big paperweight.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like,
Y220.
No.
So, sticking with advice, what's some advice that you would give to female creators that want to get into streaming?
I mean, kind of the sad thing is you're always going to be criticized on your looks, your gameplay, basically anything.
So it's like high school.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I think it's worse than high school.
It
You don't
might
even
be
know
worse.
these people.
Yeah, because
I
they're
know.
not looking you in the
Just
face.
like you're just like vibing and having a good time laughing, and you just look over and like you're like, bam, this like ugly comment in your chat, and you're just like, okay, you know, it used to affect me a lot more, I have to say. Like I said, it just doesn't affect me anymore. I think the only one that started getting to me was like when people were like, oh, you look like a man, or like this or that, and I was like, I know I don't look like a man, you know. That one was getting to me for a while. And I was like, I'm only giving it power. So, you know, just knowing that pretty much any comment's going to come your way, and you're going to have to field those comments or acknowledge them or not acknowledge them at all. So I hope that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad though, because like as a female creator, you are kind of just have to expect it more than a male creator. And that's just the nature of this business. But just kind of letting people's words be like, they're not somebody that you encounter on a day-to-day basis. So their words don't really matter, and their opinions don't define you. Somebody coming in the chat for 5 seconds just to say something nasty to you, comment on your appearance or your stream or your gameplay or whatever it might be, their opinion doesn't matter. It's mainly just to probably get under your skin anyways. And if you let it, then you're just giving them what they want. So
Absolutely. So I know, you know, it takes a lot to become even in the ballpark for Twitch partner or Kick verified. I mean, you have to get that concurrent viewership up. The engagement has to be there. The hours have to be put in. How do you engage with your audience, and what efforts do you put to ensure that they will come back?
I think that personally, I always just like knowing more about people. I always ask what they do for a living, or, you know, are you a parent? Do you, how are you in like your faith? You know, that type of thing. Someone comes in, I greet them. I ask them how their day is. It's up to them if they want to continue the conversation, essentially. Sometimes people just like to listen. But ultimately, just, I think having just a genuine care for people. I don't see that in a whole lot of, like, I see that in smaller streams, you know, but when you go into like the bigger streams, like you really just don't see them like reading their chat or commenting or getting to know their communities. And I genuinely think that that's something that's missing in a lot of places. So I do think that engagement is super important with people, and just letting them feel like seen and heard in some kind of way too, that they're important, because that's like the whole purpose of having an interactive TV, essentially. You know, somebody comes in and says something, and you read it and you respond. And just knowing like, I don't know, I'm never going to be like, I mean, I don't think of myself as like this big streamer or anything. And I kind of just think being humble about yourself and where you came from is super important, because you don't outgrow people. Like, your community is what supports you and lifts you up. And I've had times where I lift them up and they lift me up, and I get on there and sometimes I'm having like the worst day and they just sense it and they just make it better, even if they don't even know. So it's just like, it's really nice to kind of have that for both sides. I don't think they know how much they mean to me. And I think that in general is just where it's at too, is the heart of it.
Yeah, I can tell you, like, it's interesting to me that people that get into content creation because they go, oh, well, so and so does this. I see them, they have 1,000 viewers and, people are just throwing money at them left and right. This is so easy. Meanwhile, they throw up a stream from their PlayStation, not to rag on people streaming from like their PlayStation or their Xbox, but then they just sit there for like 10 hours playing Fortnite or Call of Duty. And even if someone did pop in and say hi, they wouldn't read it or respond to it or try to build a connection. And I think it's like, at that rate, are you playing video games? Or are you trying to become a content creator? Because there's a difference here.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that people think that all they need is a camera and a mic and to play games and they're going to become something. They're like, oh, I just need to hit my next break. Like, that's not where that's about at all. It's, I think that people who are in it right now, like who have those thousands of views, are hitting that because one, they do go for those types of engagements. So they promote those by doing certain things on their stream. And we kind of see that more because we're creators ourselves, like sus things that they might say, that type of fielding. And we also have to keep in mind that some of them have been doing this for like 8 to 10 years already. And we're kind of, I'm like, I've been like here for 2.5 years. So, I mean, like, while it's had growth, would it be as fast as I think like I would like it? I mean, nothing probably is as fast as people today probably want something to be. And that just goes back to the journey and just kind of having that time where you're just like, you're putting so much into it. Yeah. So you want to see that back, but it's the people who just, they go on and they hit live and they're just, there.
They're just there.
So,
yeah. How do you balance content creation with being a parent and a spouse?
That has always been very challenging for sure. I know a lot of creators are not either married or have kids. And my husband is super supportive and he really does just cheer me on and he helps with the kids and he's definitely my rock and I love him very much. He does a lot to help me be successful. And I think you have to be that as, when you're married, you have to be a team. You can't be against each other. It's about lifting each other up and supporting and like, hey, this makes my spouse happy. So like, that makes me happy. And he sees that I have a passion for this and talking to people and about God and sharing his word. And, he's a great dad. And so, but times were never like they've still with that, like it hasn't been easy. Like I streamed overnights for majority of my career. I literally just am starting to try to do daytime streams. And majority of my career has just been streaming from like, 8 to like 4 in the morning or like 9:30 to 6:30 in the morning and then getting kids to school and coming back and sleeping for a little bit and then doing dinner and then doing it all over again. So, it's definitely been a grind for sure. And, times where I just wasn't sleeping more than like 3 to 4 hours. And that was the majority of my last couple of years. So, I think though that you can stop taking care of yourself and, you can also fall into, trying to just keep advancing things and keep, trying to make it out there and make people happy, and I'm trying to make people happy, but at the same time, I'm just like, I also have to take care of myself too. So that's something I've started realizing a lot more. Yeah.
Yeah. We've seen personal friends and just people we, not to say keep tabs on, but people we keep up with on the internet. Content creation, when time boxed or effectively managed can be a really great opportunity, even if it's not for like growth as a career, is a hobby. It can be a very fulfilling thing to do. But what we've seen though is if it's not managed correctly, it can be the thing that ruins relationships. It can ruin marriages. It can ruin job situations. People will forsake their livelihoods to do this and put everything they have at jeopardy. So like this is a question we ask everyone who's married, because I think you ask any content creator spouse, what they think about it, they'll tell you it's great when I get to see them.
Seriously. I mean, he sits here and he games next to me, which is nice. Even my nights that like if I'm sick or I'm off, he still turns on my stream light over here just to feel like I'm next to him, which is super cute. I'll like walk in and he has it on. I'm like, you have my light on, and he's like, I just wanted to feel like you were next to me. So I think though that it is hard and might be kind of more rare to find maybe a couple that also does enjoy gaming, and it's usually like one of them that's like, no, that's not for me, and so I think that's, like I said, just supporting the other person in their hobbies. And it definitely is like, my times where I had my 33-hour stream, for instance, like there's no way that I could have done everything. He had to step up for that, work and also take care of the kids, or, take care of the kids the whole weekend. And it didn't really feel like a weekend because, I was working and then we had zero time together at all to even see each other. And then I was just sleeping the rest of the time. So, there are sacrifices, lots of sacrifices. And a lot of those sacrifices for years were not tucking my kids in, and that was really hard for me. So it's like, it's something that now that my little one is finally going to school, I'm like, okay, well, now I can try to just stream during the day. And it's hard though, because like you build something and it's been purely overnight. And so, had a lot of community from Australia because of that. And
whole different audience.
It is a very, now I have the UK. So it's hard, and you just hope that you could still see the same faces, of course, but you understand. And like I have to do this for me, but I hope that makes sense. I talk a lot and sometimes I don't maybe hit the point. So
Colt and I were both married, and I have a 14-month-old boy, and Colt's got 2 daughters and a son on the way. So like we relate to this. Like as people, we do this as a hobby. We know there are a lot of friends of ours who do this full time as Twitch partners, Kick Verified, just people who have had really cool stories. So we always ask them, like if you ask any business owner about like the struggles it took before they finally got successful or got their feet up under them, they'll tell you there were sacrifices that were made that in hindsight, they're like, I know I had to do it, but it hurt. And, one of those things is time away from family, whether you're a content creator or you're a business owner. Like, I feel like that's almost a constant. You're going to sacrifice time.
Yeah. I mean, you have to think of this as like an entrepreneur type thing, right? And it takes years to build a business and have it be successful and even have its name out there, And so like that side of things is really hard for me, aside from like streaming essentially, because I genuinely love engaging with the community and chatting. And I just don't make videos. Like I just don't do YouTube. I don't really do TikTok. Like I've started to try to do Twitter, or X they call it now, but that has more engagement on it. You know what I mean? Because like you can write comments to people and engage and see what's going on. And that's just different than the side of I made a video and it took me forever to make, and I'm going to go ahead and put it out there, and it might get, I don't know. I feel like it's hard for me because I definitely don't like anything that's like self-glorification, so, and there's no engagement in that. So that's the other part of it.
All right. Let's move into a rapid fire round. We're going to start, and it doesn't have to be actual rapid fire. You can take time to answer them or give details, whatever.
I was like, oh no.
So this might be a given, but what is your favorite video game of all time?
Right now I'm kind of between Fortnite and Palia, I have to say. My overall one that I was like completely addicted to when I was younger was of course Kingdom Hearts, but I also didn't share with you guys was, you remember those like the colored Game Boy Advance SPs?
Oh yes.
I had one of those and I'd play Harvest Moon on it like all the time, and I loved Harvest Moon on there. It's like the right? It was such a good game. And I had like my little cows and my chickens and like growing my farm, and then like, you know, you can only be a guy on the game. So then you're like trying to like woo the villagers, you know, and like this and that, and like rank up your stuff and mine all the tunnels. Like I don't know, I just loved all that so much. And so Palia is kind of similar in that way. And you can still mine and you do the villager stuff too, and you know, you farm and like grow your house, and so it's definitely similar. So like I am kind of like slightly addicted to that game. And I love Fortnite because Fortnite, it's just like puzzles kind of in a way. People probably like, wait, what?
I've never heard it explained like that.
I've never heard of
like builds. I only play builds. I don't play no builds.
That's what we're doing wrong. That's what we're doing. We're not doing the puzzles.
We prefer no builds because we suck at builds.
And we're old.
We'll have to play together sometime. I love builds because I feel like it really challenges my like mind, and like pressing these keys and like getting over there to that person to then like get around them in a specific way to then shoot at them, and then like, you know, it's just it's a lot of like this, but it's like tactful, and it takes I mean, I've been playing this game for 5 years, and like I've always been a controller player like my whole life, and then switching over stream, like I had to learn keyboard and mouse while streaming. And I just like now I can't imagine not having it. So I'm like, I think it does make the game pretty fun though, and playing builds is just like I said, yeah, it just for some reason I just like that. So.
Awesome.
Or tricking people. You can definitely trick people in the game too.
Yes.
Outplayed, you know.
Yep.
Back in the day, I think it was right when Fortnite launched, we have a friend, Till Truth, and we used to just laugh because we're like, some of the plays people do in Fortnite to just outbuild, especially at that last circle. That's when it's really like fun because you see the build skill comes out, like who can build around the other person the fastest to drop on them.
Mm-hmm. I mean, are you talking about like actual like end game, like team versus team?
Team versus team.
Yeah.
So on a similar note with games, what's a popular game everyone seems to love, but you don't like?
Oh, Apex.
Yes.
Same.
We're on that. I've never understood
I can't with Apex.
Like Apex.
I just don't like it. I've tried it multiple times. I just don't. I'm like, I don't understand the abilities. I don't like that I can never see anybody across the map and somehow I die. Like they see me, but I don't see them, you know, like I just can't get into it. So
funny story, the day it launched, Freeman and I played it together because the launch of Apex was like, they were just like, hello, here's a game. And we're like, whoa. And there's the creators of Titanfall 2 put it out. And so we jumped on it, played our first game. We won our very first game, and it was all downhill from there. So we had Apex.
Now, mind you, we probably played Fortnite for years, but never won a duos.
Yeah.
We go on Apex, win our first game. We said, yep, we uninstalled. This is too easy.
It's too easy. You guys are funny. My son, actually, my youngest, it's kind of funny. He just recently got addicted to Titanfall 2. The only way I can get him to eat his whole lunch at school is telling him that if you eat your whole lunch at school, you can come home and play Titan. And he was like, he comes home and he's like, you can check my lunch. You can check my lunch. I'm like, okay. And then I look at it and he's like, can I play? You know, it's super cute. And he's so good at the game. I'm like sitting there. I'm like, how are you 5 years old?
What pains me is that the same kids these days that praise Apex have never touched Titanfall. Titanfall to me is a GOAT game. The fact that 2 did so poorly but is still like a cult classic.
Yeah.
It pains me because Titanfall is superior to Apex in every way.
Yeah. And I mean, like, the same thing goes with all the Call of Duty stuff right now. You know, like, there's been so many different modifications of it. I really personally liked Battlefield 1. I love that game. That was so good. I played a little bit of Call of Duty when Fortnite Chapter 3 was like coming to its end, and it was just like god awful. And that's the only time like I took maybe a little hiatus from the game for like a week or two, and I played Call of Duty. You know, I think proximity chat can have like fun things to it.
Yeah.
You know, there's like a video, I guess, of this one guy who's like driving around in a car, and he has like this like mariachi band music playing, and you know, all the other people in the building can hear it, and it like they can talk to each other. I think that's funny. So I think prox chat can be fun, but it can also be like super toxic. So yeah. But I always like the like capture points, you know, like oh gosh, what is that mode called? I can't even remember the mode.
Domination.
Conquest, domination. That's it.
Yeah. I always like that mode. That's fun.
Yeah.
Sniping in those games is good.
It's very satisfying.
It is. Yeah.
So Colt.
All right. So yeah, here's the big one. Are esports a sport?
Are esports a sport? I mean, I was always very athletic growing up. I did like softball, dance, cheer. I would say that it's like a sport in a different type of way. You obviously have to have muscle memory, and you have to have quick reflexes. You don't necessarily need to be in like really good shape though, you know? So it's like, I'm not in like the shape I was when I did sports, but like, I think it challenges you in a different kind of like mental way, because us as creators, like we're reading chat, playing a game, talking to game chat, and monitoring like sounds and all this other stuff. And so I think if you're like a creator and also doing like sports, like esports, then I think, yeah, you know, that's definitely a challenge because you're balancing so many different types of things at the same time. However, if you're just like, you know, I don't know, like if you're just getting on and gaming, I don't know. That's hard for me because I'm like, it could be, it's just kind of different in that kind of sense. I think that you can find your passion. That can always definitely be something that's like really good. And when you find your calling, you just find it like, you're like, oh, I love this. Then that's great. I don't know. That's kind of interesting though, because so many people can just make like thousands of dollars off this, and just because they're good at it. So
yeah,
it's definitely a point of contention. There are some people who absolutely swear it's not a sport, and there are some people that say, well, why isn't it a sport? And so it's always a fun question we ask. So another follow.
I think the Fortnite comps. Those are the best. I'd rather watch that over football, to be honest.
Honestly, I want to see Olympic esports.
Ooh,
every country, let's summon your best. Best. You can't go to Korea and farm all the good Korean players like the Overwatch League did. You have to find people in your own countries and put them in like a BR or Fortnite or something. See if
that would be cool.
Win.
So Korea would just.
I've heard like an argument that BR is dying, and I was like, I don't know.
No.
I don't know about that. They always try to come out with the next thing, like, oh, Fortnite's dying. Oh, BR is dying. Oh, this is dying. I'm like, you know. Video games dying next? Like, I don't think so. I think people will still love video gaming. So,
oh yeah.
So, how do you pronounce the moving images known as .gif?
Oh, GIF.
Nice.
Yeah.
Colt, you're losing. I swear, every guess.
I'm over. What is this, episode 7? I'm over 7.
GIF is the peanut butter.
It is the peanut butter.
I mean, is like my son's name is Johnny, so Johnny, and then G is like golf, so GIF. That's how I relate it. Or giraffe, you know.
That one
or
that logic works for me.
Or Gerald. There you go. See. All right, so moving on because I'm always wrong on this one. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
I actually heard this question recently, and I was like kind of stumped because I was like, maybe.
It's a brain stumper. It is.
like if you turn it sideways and eat it, then like it very well like
And
the
you're a
only
psychopath. Yeah, I mean,
and you're a psychopath because it's like all gonna spill on you. But like I don't know, because like you could top it with a bunch of stuff. So then the same argument goes: is it a sundae? You know, like just because it's not sweet, like it's savory. If you're
I
topping
haven't
like
heard that one.
yeah, like you're topping a bunch of stuff on it, like mayo, mustard, relish. Some people do onions or like sauerkraut or like whatever on it. You know, like it's like the same type of thing. So I I don't
Sunday, I
know.
like that.
Maybe it's just a boat. You know,
Yeah,
it's like sailing. So
the common one we've gotten is people say that it's a taco, not a sandwich.
I've
Taco
heard
or
that
sub.
one too.
Yeah,
It's like a sub sandwich.
See, I think of it more like a sub. Yeah,
Yeah.
it could be that. But
Yeah.
but you don't eat it sideways like a sub sandwich because everything's inside the bread,
Sure, you
and
gotta
then
leave
you
it turned
smush
up.
it, and then you eat it. Everything's
That's
on
a good
top of the
point.
hot dog,
That's
and then
true.
you eat everything just like
Why don't-
straight. So it's
Why
like
don't
it's like a
people eat
little
their
boat.
subs that way.
Yeah. Why don't you eat your subs that
Yeah.
way? That's a good point.
Much thought.
Yeah.
Why
I'm
don't-
gonna have
yeah.
to try that.
Just have a hot dog, but your
you need to make a
meats and all
short TikTok.
your cheese and all your condiments and stuff on the top. Lettuce
Yeah.
is just pouring over.
Go into Jimmy John's and then sit down in front of people you know are watching and just pick it up and then turn it this way and start eating it.
You know what you do is you go in there and you ask them to make you you're like I want you to make it like a hot dog would be made. They're
Yeah.
just gonna look at you like
You know, like the people who go to McDonald's and they think they're being clever. Like, I want to order my McDouble like a Mac. I want my sub like a hot dog. And then just see what they do with it.
yeah. Just never
So-
know.
Our next question here is: does a straw have one or two holes?
These are so good questions. I vote one. It's a continuous one. If it were closed off, then I'd say two. But it's definitely one because it I mean, I have a straw right here. Hold on a second. I mean, yeah, it has two holes, but it goes like all the
Oh,
way,
she said
you
it has
know,
two holes.
it goes yeah, no, it like it has two sides, I should say. It's like a tunnel, okay? It's like a tunnel. I guess that same thing and then now I'm thinking of new things.
Does that tunnel have two entrances?
Does it have
Hmm.
two holes? Or is it one
If you
hole?
dug a tunnel all the way
Hmm.
across through the middle of the earth and out the other side, hypothetically,
Uh-huh.
would it not have two holes? Because you'd have one on one side of the earth, and then if you go to the other side of the earth, there's another hole.
But it's one hole.
But it's one continuous hole.
Yeah.
But it's one because it's still continuous.
It's true.
The
I
world
think I
will
would
never
vote
know.
one. I would vote one.
You know, you could go both ways, honestly. It's definitely a philosophical type of mentality.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, that's true though. But what side is the like on a tunnel? What side is the entrance? What side is the exit? It just depends on which way you're going. So
It's true.
Perspective.
it is perspective. Yeah.
So Colt.
Yeah.
Next one.
Does pineapple belong on pizza?
Yes. I think so. I don't
Just the
personally eat it all the
definition, you
time,
think so?
but I think that I always grew up having like I grew up in San Diego, and so like we would have like Hawaiian pizza,
Uh-huh.
and we would have like pineapple with like the ham and like olives and cheese, and I always really like that.
I
So
went all out.
yeah, parents
I haven't heard of
all out.
pineapple with olive. That's
Really?
an interesting one. No.
Usually
Yeah,
it's the ham and pineapple,
it's the
usually.
Hawaiian
Yeah.
pizza. Yeah, you
Okay.
get a Hawaiian pizza. It has that on it. And I mean that was the days before stuffed crust. So
Yeah.
you know, sad days. You had to be really creative.
So
I did I asked somebody who had Papa John's today. I was like, "Did you get the garlic butter sauce? Like that's super important." And then he's like, "I got the spicy garlic butter sauce." I was like, "Oh my gosh, they make spicy garlic butter sauce now?"
well, now they have garlic cheese stuffed crust, and that one is the one to go for now.
Whoa.
Like before, their cheese filled one was bland. Now it's got like the garlic stuff inside with the cheese,
Like garlic
Then you
bread
mix
and
it in the garlic
cheese.
butter sauce.
It is,
Wow.
and that's what I do. I take the garlic butter and I take that garlic
Yeah.
cheese filled crust and I dunk that thing.
And you just have horrible breath the rest of the night.
Yes, but it's okay. My wife also eats it, so at least
Yeah.
we're together.
Yeah,
that's fair.
exactly.
So, what do you put in first, the milk or the cereal?
Cereal.
Okay, you passed.
She passed.
You passed. You passed.
You'd have to be a psychopath to do it the other way. I'm so sorry to offend
Exactly.
everybody
Thank you.
else.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
very true. We
Like,
can move on
you-
from that one.
You don't know how
No,
much.
good.
Like, why would you pour your milk in if you like? You have to cover the cereal with the milk.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
For
You know-
one, and then two. I mean, you don't even know how much cereal you're gonna like. You put all the milk in there, and then what? Your cereal overflows the bowl. It doesn't make sense to me.
That's a good point too. I saw this cup. Have y'all seen the cereal cup where
Yes.
you put milk in it, and then it has a tube in the middle. You put your cereal in, and it has a big opening. And when you tip it up, you get milk and cereal at the same time. For people that say that they don't like their cereal to get soggy, so they get crispy cereal and a drink of milk at the same time. But I also heard it doesn't work very well.
Why
'cause
not
you
just
get like a lot of
Why
milk.
not
and
just
a
eat
little
the
bit of
cereal dry and just have a cup of milk?
That's true. It's a good point. But
That's really smart.
somebody
And you
went out
save
there and
money.
somebody invented this cup and is making millions of dollars. And they probably had a friend
Yeah.
that said, "Why wouldn't you just eat dry cereal and drink milk?" And they're like, "I'm trying to make money."
I'm trying to make money, okay? Stop producing logic.
Yes. Okay.
But I'm not the type of person that's like, I have to have my cereal like super crunchy. I'm like, I kind of like it,
Same.
like, mid, I don't want it
Yeah.
to be, that's why you pour the
You
milk
don't
on
want
top
it
of
to be
it.
falling apart, but you want it to be soaked,
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Is it wrong to wear socks with sandals?
Yes.
Any kind of sandals?
Mm.
Like slides? Any kind?
See, I don't
Crocs.
personally wear Crocs, but I think people that wear Crocs have to wear socks, Croc socks,
Socks and Crocs.
because otherwise you get blisters.
Facts. So
New marketing idea for them.
I don't wear
Croc
Crocs either,
socks.
so I
There you
didn't know.
go.
It's interesting because I've been trying to pitch this idea to every guest,
Yeah.
and I just need $50,000 for the startup,
Mhm.
and and I've asked every guest and I've been denied every time. But I want to start a retail store called Crocs and Socks, and you sell Crocs, you sell like decorated socks that even can match with your Crocs that you buy, and then you have your little
And then you
Croc
have stuffed animals that are
thing.
crocodiles that are wearing Crocs with socks.
I like that too.
There you
Kids
go.
would love that.
Yep.
It's genius. Okay, if I ever
So-
get 50,000, we'll contact you so you can throw in more ideas.
I
Okay.
know.
I'm
He
really good
keeps
at business
pitching
ideas.
Hey, Cole, I think you just need to crowdfund this, like put it on Kickstarter and see
Mhm.
Actually,
who takes
genius
the
idea.
bait
Maybe Kick themselves will, invest.
with their Crocs in
Yeah,
socks.
give you every person who donates gets 1%.
You'd have to spell it a little differently and then design it slightly different so it doesn't. I mean, you'd have to see if the patent design.
Yeah, I
of
think you'd have to
Crocs.
pay royalties to sell the
Yeah.
Crocs. or
Otherwise, you'd
whatever.
have to pay royalties on actual Crocs.
I think we could work a deal out with the Crocs people.
Better
Maybe.
yet, you should broker a deal between a crock pot manufacturer and Croc, and you have a big Croc as your crock pot. Yeah, it's my $1 million idea, Cole. I beat you to
I
it.
like
Cook in
that
the
one
crock
too.
pot at your events.
Yes.
Yeah,
shaped like
whip out this big green crock, and it's whatever. It's
Crock.
chili. We're eating chili
Do you
out of
guys
the
wear
crock
Crocs
tonight.
with socks?
No.
I don't wear Crocs. So.
I live in Florida, and I'm firm on my opinion that socks do not go with sandals ever.
Yeah.
Period.
Mhm.
I live in Texas and everything pokes you or it's really hot on your feet. So
I
just
live
wear
in
shoes all
Texas
the time.
too. Everything's trying to bite you or kill you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Bite,
I
sting,
literally,
poke.
on one Mother's Day, I was new out here and we were picking flowers in the yard, me and the kids, and I was standing on an anthill and that they got all up my shoes, all up my legs, like within the matter of like 20 seconds. And I was just like, this is so bad.
Demon.
Like
Demon.
it was just so bad. I was like swollen from like my whole foot up half my leg. And I was just like, I can't believe this. Like everything just wants to kill you out here.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
does.
Big facts.
The only place worse is Australia.
Or the gators you have in Florida. Those things are ginormous. And like
Those are
basically
pets.
those are
pets.
Yeah, they're
terrifying.
pets.
They just walk
They're
around
like
when they get in their
pets.
car in the morning.
I remember there was one time at our office I work for ministry, and we have most places here for drainage reasons, because it's all swamp here. Like there is no elevation change. We're barely a few feet above sea level, period. Most places have retaining ponds because when it rains, which it's Florida, it rains all the time. You need a place for the water to go. Well,
Right.
a lot of these retaining ponds are really that. They're ponds. Well, in our parking lot one day, at 8 a.m., everyone's pulling up and they're like, oh, look, there's a gator. The thing's like 9 feet.
Oh my gosh.
We're just, our security was like, just don't go near it. You're fine. We'll call animal control. Animal control comes out and they measure it and they go, yeah, it's not big enough to take. So it just became like the pet. Like we would joke, like, has anyone seen it? Yeah.
What does it have to be?
I don't know. Like,
I would have asked them. I would have been like, how big does the thing need to be for you to actually do anything?
For real.
So then meanwhile, we're all like, so you came, you measured it and said it's not big enough to take. So now there's a gator somewhere in one of the ponds around the building. Cool.
Yeah, and it's getting bigger by the day.
Yes, getting stronger. Ready.
Yeah. He's plotting too. Plotting.
Definitely. Y'all called animal control on me. I'm going to get y'all back.
Exactly. He's like, I took names that day.
All right. So what is your go-to fast food order?
I have food allergies. So I'm anaphylactic to dairy, wheat, gluten, and eggs. It's quite a lot.
What can you eat?
Wow.
I eat everything you guys eat, just gluten-free vegan. I have to make it though. So that's kind of the only downfall. When I lived in San Diego, my go-to order was a place called Purple Mint, and it's so good. It's like a Thai food place. So they had these like lemongrass spring rolls, and then like these peanut sauce ones, and then a Mao Pao tofu, and I would eat like the whole thing. I don't even care. I don't even care how full I got. I would eat like the entire thing. There's a lot of food too.
Thai food is the bomb.com.
Yeah, it's so good. And then like you eat it and then you're like, I ate so much food. And like 4 hours later, you're like starving. You're like, what happened? Why am I so hungry? You know, I just ate like all this food. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I've never had Thai food before.
Really?
I don't even know where to get it. Don't even know where to get it.
I'm gonna have to introduce you.
I was born in Texas and I've been here my entire life. I eat steaks and Whataburger, so you know that's about it.
Yeah.
My parents came out and one time when they tried the Whataburger, everyone says Waterburger out here though.
Yeah.
And they were like, it's disgusting. They were like, it was so gross. I mean, yeah. So I don't know. They try different places. I don't know. I haven't had like a fast food burger in a long time. So I used to work at McDonald's when I was younger, but
oh, nice.
Wow.
You don't want to know what's back there.
Yeah.
No. I try not to think about
don't want to know.
Yeah, that's one thing. Like when you go to places, just don't look too hard and don't think about where your food is being prepared. You'll be okay.
Or maybe do and just don't eat there so you don't get sick. McDonald's, like my manager, to save money, she used to pour expired milk into the milk shake machine. Yeah.
No.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
and then
nice.
And that's why it was always broken.
That's why it was always broken. And then we had like a big like flood up from like the drains in the store, and they required us to still work in it, and it was all the way up to like here on my leg, and so we had to put bags up our legs and like still stand in it. And I was like, this has got to be against OSHA. Like, I don't understand how people are still ordering food. Like,
oh my God.
How come you can see that? And it's like nasty, dirty, like brown water, and you still want to eat here? I don't get it.
It's fine. It's not in the food.
Yeah, I don't think I would eat that if I pull up to the drive-through window and I see you standing knee deep in brown water. I don't think I'm gonna be like, just cancel that. You can keep the money. I'm gonna leave.
Yeah, exactly. I used to have this one guy who would get a iced tea, and he would literally drive up to the window. I was newer at the time and I didn't know what he did. And if you gave him the iced tea and the straw, he would take the wrapper, crunch up, and throw it at your face, like straight at your face. It'd just be like bunk. And then you just drive off. And like the first time I had that happen, I was like, oh my gosh. And then I was like, how come none of you told me, like, this awful guy did that to me? And then they're like, you have to put the straw in. So the next time I like tore part of the straw off, you know, the bottom part, and I put it in, and he still like threw the rest of the wrapper at me. He wanted you to actually touch his straw and like put it in his drink and then hand it to him. And I was just
That's
like,
weird.
right?
No. You're like, I'm good. You can throw it at me.
You can throw it at me. It's just interesting. It's McDonald's. Sorry, it's a tangent there.
I can only imagine the stories of McDonald's. I had a friend who once worked at Dunkin', and the stories he would tell, I'm like, I don't think I want to eat at Dunkin' anymore. I'm good.
Oh, really?
But I enjoy the stories. Just some of the goofy stuff that they do. It makes you scratch your head. And you go, that's your policy? Okay. I guess I'll have coffee and donuts.
Is it the policy that you can't have coffee if you don't have donuts?
It's about how long things can sit.
Oh, I see. Oh.
And when they actually made them fresh.
That's normal. Donut shop. You get like 4 days, right?
Yeah. A couple of days is good.
So fresh.
Wow.
It's warm enough. They'll never know.
That's fresh coffee too.
It's been
coffee 3 days old. That'd be terrible.
Burning on the pot there for several hours.
Yeah.
So, MmamaLlama, it's been fun. If people listening or watching this want to follow you and watch you live or follow you wherever you are on social media, how would they do that? What's the best way? When do you go live, or what should they know?
I'm kind of changing up my hours. I do appreciate you saying that. It's very sweet. My times are Monday. Oh, I'll just say the times I'm not live. Wednesdays and Sundays, I'm not live. Currently. And I'm trying to be live by 9 a.m. Central Time. It's kind of like I'm figuring out my time schedule though. So some days I'm like, oh, 9 a.m. is working. And then other days I'm like, maybe like Friday should be evenings, Saturday should be evenings. So I'm still trying to figure out like a good balance to it all. But Twitch and Kick, and I try to be active on Twitter as much as I can, which is sometimes. So thank you.
Well, it's been an absolute blast having you on the show. And Colt, any
thank you so much
words?
for having me.
No, it was a great time. You're an awesome guest. Thank you for just taking the time to come on with us.
I had a blast. Thank you so much for having me. It was wonderful conversations, and you guys are very welcoming hosts, and I really do appreciate you inviting me onto your channel and spending the time to have me here. Means a lot. So
we've appreciated just the conversations likewise, and hearing your story, and God bless you, MmamaLlama. It's been great.
Oh, God bless you too. Thank you so much. We'll have to do this again sometime.
Doodtacular.